Our speaker is the social media and community manager for coins.ph, where he works to educate and generate awareness for coins.ph users on the basics of cryptocurrency. He has also given talks to schools all over the Philippines, as well as Miss Universe Philippines, about cryptocurrency, NFTs, as well as blockchain technology, and has been involved in the space since 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome to the virtual floor, Mr. Franco Araneta.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the Department of Justice today for inviting me to talk a little bit about crypto. I'll go ahead and share my screen so we can begin the session, which I like to call Crypto 101. Okay. Once again, thank you so much for inviting me here today. As the video mentioned, thank you so much for that video, by the way. My name is Franco. I've been in crypto since 2017 and currently work in coins.ph as the social media and community manager. And today, I'll just take you through the basics of what crypto is, everything from blockchain to Bitcoin to Ethereum, and even a bit about NFTs. So to get started today, I would just like to start with a definition of terms. So first, I would like to define what is currency versus what is cryptocurrency. So currency is defined as the medium of exchange used to facilitate the trade of goods between two different parties. So you can kind of think of currency as a communication tool. And basically, it allows us to agree upon the value of a particular object or item. So when you compare this to cryptocurrency, this is essentially a new form of digital currency that uses something called cryptography to secure transactions on the blockchain. So cryptocurrency is actually composed of two separate words. The first, of course, is called cryptography, and the second is currency. And cryptography is essentially the science of sending secret messages or data between two or more parties. So cryptography is essentially used so that transactions can be sent securely through the network, through the blockchain network. So the example we have here for all of you today is for Bitcoin, as you can see here on your right. But I think it's important to note that there are actually thousands of different cryptocurrencies, and there's actually more being created every day. And each of these thousands of different cryptocurrencies, they all serve their own particular use case. But I think the most important thing to understand here is that the underlying theme that ties all of these different cryptocurrencies together is that they are based on some form of what we call blockchain technology. So blockchain is really the key to understanding how cryptocurrencies work. And I just want to ask the audience here today, has anyone ever heard of the term called blockchain? Okay. Anyway, so what is blockchain exactly? So blockchain is essentially a network of computers that reach agreement over a shared ledger. So once again, blockchain is a network of computers that reach agreement over a shared ledger. And to break this down, a ledger is essentially a record that tracks the movement of money coming in and out. So how exactly does blockchain work in the most practical sense? So I think the best way to understand how blockchain works is to first determine how a ledger works. And how does a ledger work for a bank versus a traditional blockchain? So the first example I'll use today is for a bank. So whenever you make a transaction, whether that's online or with a credit card, normally what happens is you will basically make the payment to the shop. The shop is then going to check the bank, and the bank is going to then check their ledger for their records. And whatever transaction that takes place, the bank will update that ledger and will essentially make the transaction for you. So in a way, the bank is essentially the middleman that is responsible for carrying out this transaction for you. So, and they're also the custodian of your funds as well. So the key to understanding how traditional financial transactions take place is really that we rely on a third party or middleman, such as a bank, to help carry out these transactions for us. Now, the magic of blockchain, the way you can really understand blockchain is it allows us to carry out these financial transactions, but it completely removes the middleman or third party from this equation. So you'll be able to carry out transactions without the need of a bank or any third party payment processor. So now that we understand how transactions work in the traditional way, let's see how transactions occur for a blockchain. So in a blockchain, it isn't just the bank taking note in their ledger. It's not just them updating the ledger, but it's actually this ledger is distributed through thousands of different computers all over the world. Because going back to our original definition of what is a blockchain is a network of computers that reach agreement over a shared ledger. So this is the shared ledger here. And when you, for example, make a transaction, it isn't just Catherine that will be updating the ledger. It's also going to be Donnie. It's also going to be Daniel. And that's also going to be Belle, all working together to make sure that all the transactions coming in through the blockchain network is 100% the same. So in the case that there's a bad actor or a hacker that comes in and tries to alter the ledger, their transaction will be rejected because we have the blockchain network has to make sure that all the ledgers across the entire network are 100% the same. So what this essentially means is rather than relying on one middleman, we rely on thousands of computers all updating their ledger in order to process transactions for us. So this is really like an important innovation, not just in the history of payment systems, but in the history of the internet, because we now have, for the first time in human history, a payment system that doesn't rely on a third party. It's a payment system that relies on the internet. So to sum up, why exactly is blockchain important? So the first reason is that it's very difficult to change the network. As I mentioned, a traditional bank or a traditional payment system uses like a ledger controlled by a bank or a party payment processor, while a blockchain relies on thousands of participants. So it's very hard to alter or change the network once a transaction has taken place. The second thing of why blockchains is so important is that data is transparent and anyone can see. This doesn't apply to all cryptocurrencies, but it does apply to most of them. So for an example, when you make a transaction on Bitcoin, you can actually go online and search for the transaction history of Bitcoin ever since the start of its creation in 2009. So this data, as I mentioned, this data is completely viewable to the public and anyone can access it. So it allows for better accountability and transparency. And I think I already reiterated this point many times, but I'll reiterate it once more because it's very important. Perhaps the most important thing about blockchain is that we completely cut out the middleman from payments. So we no longer need a bank or a third-party payment processor. So I think I can give a practical example of this is when you send a remittance. Traditionally, when you send a remittance, maybe let's say for like 100,000 pesos, you would have to go to a remittance company, and that remittance company would charge a certain percentage fee, and it'll also take a couple of days to process. Now, with Bitcoin, you can utilize blockchain technology to send 10,000 pesos worth of Bitcoin for a fraction of the cost, sometimes less than 100 pesos, and it can take place within an hour. So this is really the benefit using this technology because it will really revolutionize the way transactions are made online. Okay. So now that we have an understanding of blockchain and the underlying technology that powers all cryptocurrencies, I think we have enough knowledge to arm ourselves to understand what exactly is Bitcoin. So anyone in the chat here today is familiar with Bitcoin or even maybe has tried to buy Bitcoin before? Okay, no one there? Okay, no problem. So let me introduce you to what exactly Bitcoin is. Bitcoin, to put it simply, is the oldest and largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization today. It currently stands at $317 billion at market cap. And it's actually the first use case of blockchain technology ever. So there would not be any blockchain without Bitcoin, and there would not be any Bitcoin without blockchain. Bitcoin really revolutionized this thing we call blockchain technology. And as I mentioned, the market capitalization is over 300 billion. So it's really emerged as no longer as this fringe asset, but an important asset, financial asset in its own right. It's even bigger than some companies such as Coca-Cola, Facebook, and even Samsung. So it's a major player in the financial world today. So some things that I would like to clarify about Bitcoin is that, first of all, it is not a government-issued currency. Second, it's not a product created by a corporation. So there's no CEO, there's no COO, there's no employees that run the product of which is Bitcoin. Essentially, it's just a technology protocol that anyone can build on. So what I mean by a protocol is it's basically a set of rules that determine how data is sent. And today, when you use the internet, it's basically run by all of these different protocols. So the examples I have here in this slide are for TCP/IP for internet, HTTPS for web, and SMTP for email. And now, in order to wrap your head around Bitcoin, you can understand Bitcoin as a protocol, another protocol to add to this list. So if email, for example, is a protocol for sending messages online, you can think of Bitcoin as a protocol for sending value online. And this is a tech protocol that anyone can build on. Another example that I often like to use is email is a protocol that companies such as Google can build on with Gmail, or Apple can build on with iCloud Mail. And you can think of Bitcoin as the same way. Bitcoin is a protocol that other companies such as coins.ph can also build on. So yeah, that is basically what Bitcoin is. And another cool thing about Bitcoin is that it's actually a scarce asset. And what I mean by this is that through blockchain technology, we can ensure that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence, 19 million of which have already been mined. So this is very unlike traditional fiat currency, which you can print. You can print an unlimited supply of. Bitcoin really has a scarce supply, and it's really limited at that 21 million cap. It's actually estimated that the last ever Bitcoin will be mined at around 2140, and after that point, there will be no more Bitcoins ever created. So, since we have now this understanding of Bitcoin as a scarce asset, this is why many people actually compare Bitcoin to that of gold. They even call it digital gold. And the reason for this comparison is that, like gold, Bitcoin and gold have a scarce amount on this earth. There's a finite amount of it in existence, and as I mentioned, you cannot easily create Bitcoin or gold out of thin air. There is a set amount of Bitcoin, which I mentioned is 21 million, and there's a set amount of gold on the planet Earth at any given time. So that's why if you just track the history of Bitcoin, so far this has helped it grow as an asset class over the last 10 or so years of its existence. And that's why in 2014, you were able to buy a Bitcoin for as low as 16,000 pesos for one Bitcoin. And now today, in the year 2022, one Bitcoin is worth approximately around 1 million pesos. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin is often compared to digital gold and has also emerged as its own asset class in the financial world. So yeah, that is Bitcoin. As I mentioned, it's the #1 cryptocurrency by market capitalization today. And now I want to move on to something called Ethereum. So Ethereum is actually the second largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization after Bitcoin. And just to clarify terms once more, Ether is the cryptocurrency and Ethereum is the blockchain. So Ethereum is essentially, you can think of it as programmable money through the use of smart contracts. And with these smart contracts, you can actually build a lot of different decentralized applications And Ethereum basically serves as not only a cryptocurrency, but almost like a software platform or computing platform in its own right. Okay, so the key again to understanding Ethereum is really through the use of smart contracts. And I'll go ahead and define exactly what a smart contract is. But sorry, first I will compare what a traditional contract is versus a smart contract. So when you have a traditional contract, you essentially you can imagine two people coming together in a room and then signing a piece of paper that, once again, a third party has to enforce to make sure that the contract is fully executed. Now, the beauty of smart contracts is it's a self-executing programmable contract that's stored on a blockchain. And with the smart contract, instead of the terms of agreement being written on a piece of paper or on an online document, the terms of agreement are written directly into its code. So that's why we call it, that's why it's programmable. So when we have a smart contract, what essentially happens is we have two parties that have a smart contract written out. And this time, we completely remove the third party from this equation once again. So we no longer need a third party to enforce this contract. We can just rely purely on the computer code to make sure that it's enforced. So once certain conditions are met in the smart contract, it will just automatically execute on its own. And this brings with it so many different kinds of applications and different use cases that can be used throughout this Ethereum blockchain. And I'll be running through each of these use cases now. The first use case is something we call ERC20 tokens. So ERC20 is a smart contract that's used for building fungible tokens on Ethereum. And what I mean by fungible is that these are essentially identical tokens that can be exchanged with one another. So we have a few examples here of some cryptocurrency tokens built in Ethereum. We have USDC, Chainlink, SLPs, and so on. And essentially, Ethereum it's not only its own cryptocurrency, but has emerged as a platform for other companies or organizations to build cryptocurrencies on top of. So right now, there are thousands of different cryptocurrencies that are built on the Ethereum network. And that's why Ethereum has emerged as the second largest cryptocurrency today. Another use case for Ethereum is something called NFTs, which stand for non-fungible tokens. And when you say non-fungible, these are basically unique tokens that can't be exchanged with one another. So like one token is not exactly the same as another. And essentially with Ethereum, we can track these non-fungible tokens and track their ownership, their public proof of ownership using blockchain technology. So while of course you can go ahead and screenshot this image here of these NFTs or copy and paste it, what you can't do is you can't prove ownership and you can't sell these tokens on a marketplace. And that's really the power that NFTs bring, is that they allow you to monetize these digital collectibles and allow you to sell them on a online marketplace. Now I'll run through some of the examples of NFTs. The first one is NFT art. So this is perhaps the most basic use of NFTs. Is it basically allows artists to take their artwork and convert it into an NFT that can be stored in the blockchain, and it allows them to basically tokenize their artwork. So now these artists, instead of being restricted by their geographic location of having their art in just a gallery, they can put their art online, and this can be traded and sold through various marketplaces. Another cool thing is that since this is based on blockchain technology, and as I mentioned, the blockchain is transparent and viewable to everyone, artists can track where their art has gone from person to person and can even receive revenue from secondary sales every time the art is sold. And that's really the power of that blockchain technology brings to the world of art. So yeah, the example you see here today on your left is a piece called 100 Days by an artist called Beeple. And this is I believe this is the highest NFT sale in history at $65 million or at around 3.3 billion pesos. And this was actually sold on Christie's, which is a very prestigious and popular auctioneering house. And yeah, it just proves the legitimacy of NFT art as actual art as well, because it was sold with a lot of traditional art as well. So that's one example. That's NFT art. Another example is something called NFT collectibles, which I showed you earlier. And these are digital assets whose value is dependent on their scarcity and rarity. So they can be generated algorithmically through a smart contract so that each collectible has their own unique traits. So if you've ever had like trading cards with different rarities and collectibles, this is kind of a similar idea. And perhaps the most popular NFT collectible today is called Bored Ape Yacht Club. And this has kind of emerged as a way for users to participate in the community. So if you own this NFT through the blockchain, you can prove that you're part of this Bored Ape Yacht Club community, and you can go to exclusive online and offline events, get exclusive benefits as being part of the club. So the NFT kind of acts as your membership card to this community, as well as like its own piece of art. In addition to this, these collectibles have also emerged as kind of a status symbol in the crypto world. So similar to how, you know, a Rolex is a status symbol, now these Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs are also a status symbol as well. So that's why you see celebrities such as Justin Bieber or Eminem, they also own these NFTs as a way to show their status in the whole crypto NFT world. So those are what NFT collectibles are. The other cool thing about NFT collectibles is that we've actually had massive corporations such as Adidas buy their own NFTs. And with Bored Ape Yachts and Bored Ape Yacht Club in particular, this NFT allows you to if you own this NFT, it also allows you to own the IP rights. And this has allowed Adidas to use their Bored Ape and all of their different marketing materials. So now they use it as their own profile picture on Twitter. They've created comic books using this character that they own as an NFT, and even create their own NFTs as well. So a whole new like creator economy and new marketing techniques have emerged due to the rise of these NFT collectibles. Okay, and then the last example of NFTs that I would like to talk about today is something called NFT gaming. And these are essentially video game assets such as skins, characters, or avatars that can be used in blockchain-based games. So you may have heard of Axie Infinity before. This is a very popular blockchain-based NFT game in the Philippines. And essentially, what this allows people to do is play the game, improve their character, and also sell their character for cryptocurrency. So now it's no longer that you just play and continue to improve or level up your character. You can play and eventually sell these characters online through an NFT marketplace. And this has opened up a whole new realm of gaming. And I think in the years to come, NFTs are going to be more integrated into the world of video games as we move forward. Okay, so yeah, we've covered already what is crypto, blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and of course NFTs. And now I think we just want to introduce you to what exactly is coins.ph. And essentially coins.ph is the biggest crypto wallet and exchange in the Philippines. Right now, we have over 16 million customers, and we are licensed and regulated by the BSP as well. I think our main claim to fame is that we essentially allow you to cash in your peso to our digital wallet and convert that to crypto instantly. So you can, for example, send in your cash to our wallet. You can convert that peso into any of our 24 different cryptocurrencies that we have available in our wallet today. So it really allows the average person to easily enter this world of cryptocurrency through an easy-to-use app that's available on the iOS or Google Play Store. So here's an example. You can actually buy crypto for as low as 5 pesos. And this is really how simple it is to use our app. Essentially, you just input the amount of peso you want to convert. and then you just slide to convert, and it instantly gets converted to the cryptocurrency of your choice, which in this case is Bitcoin. So yeah, very easy to use app. We've been around since 2014, so we've managed to smooth out the process over the last several years. And yeah, that's essentially what coins.ph is. So we encourage everyone, if you haven't already, get your crypto journey started with us. We're available on the App Store, the Google Play Store, I think also the Huawei App Gallery. And it's really an easy and most of all safe way to get started with crypto.